when Putin just simply said that I have tactical nuclear weapons available and I under certain circumstances, I will deal with it, and the whole world went ballistic.
Erupted. Yeah, yeah,
Erupted.
absolutely.
And here we have seen no single comment from anybody in the global system. There is no minister, senior member of any of the major powers has reacted to that issue and said, "Stop it. Pakistan should stop warmongering, stop nuclear mongering, stop nuclear posturing, not nuclear brinkmanship." But this is not happening.
Welcome to the Gist on Strat News Global. I'm Surya Gangadharan. My guest is Brigadier Arun Sahgal. We had him a few days ago looking at the India-Pakistan conflict. And given the intensity of the exchanges going on, we thought we'd take a look at some of the, at where this war is going, what is the course of the conflict, and when it could possibly come to an end. Brigadier Sehgal, glad to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are now entering day 3 of this Operation Sindoor. What's your sense so far?
Okay, so what has happened is that on the day one, there was an exchange of targets by both sides. India went in for essentially terror-based targeting. We had, if you recollect, we had discussed that we had two options,
Yeah,
terror or military. So India exercised the prudent option of going in for terror-based infrastructure because, after all, India's interest lies in ensuring that the cross-border terror from Pakistan is taken out of the equation.
yeah.
Uh, on day one, we went in for those kind of targets, 9 of them totally, as you are aware. Then Pakistan retaliated with a much more, it did not stick to the, it started hitting our military targets and also hitting our population centers.
Yeah.
So that was an escalation, and he hit about 15 population centers across much, broadening the entire intensity of the conflict, both in intensity as well as in laterally.
Yeah.
Today, we are at a situation when last night Pakistanis have further escalated and started hitting our military targets. Now, this is, if you recollect, we had also discussed that if we start hitting the military targets, we are entering into a dangerous territory of escalation because
Hmm.
now the equations are changing. We are not sending just a signal of sending drones to each other, trying to intimidate each other and hitting targets of just to show leave our calling card behind. But now we are coming into a serious business
Hmm.
now, and we are entering what we said is a step 3 of the escalation. And now this is an uncharted territory.
Hmm.
Now, in this uncharted territory, there are two options available. Either one, the India now, India shall retaliate. There is no doubt about it. But the level of retaliation India would like to do at this late stage, commensurate with what we have been always saying, is that
Hmm.
we are not interested in a conflict with Pakistan, but we want to convey to the Pakistan very clearly and in no unambiguous terms that terrorism doesn't pay. So, if this be the scenario, then one situation it could be is that we retaliate, but it's a limited, again, calibrated retaliation, not a crazy, all encompassing retaliation with the Pakistanis are up to, as
Hmm.
a as a stage which is a responsible stakeholder. We do not want to do that, and that's one of the issues that we can do. Now, here, the scenario could turn out to be that Pakistan can look at this as an off-ramp kind of a situation where India is being pragmatic, India has been calibrated, and India is offering a maneuver room. Uh,
A way
if that
out.
if they take that, then we are on happy ground.
Okay.
I mean, when I say they take that and is an off ramp, please remember in this game now of crisis management, we are now shifted from a crisis to a crisis management scenario. And in
Hmm.
this game, the political elements has also started coming in. We have had two reports. One report, which has also been talked about by the Pakistanis, was some kind of a contact. I would not say discussion or anything, contact between the two NSAs.
Yeah.
And also the fact is that the Americans are jumping in, the Saudi Arabians are jumping in, and British are jumping in. So there is a huge amount of global pressure by important players and partners, which is being levied. And the Chinese are also making, for a first time, a conciliatory statement in terms of the fact that they're recognizing that the terrorism has been the key issue in this whole context. So this is one aspect of the whole issue. My worry is that given the attitude of the present military leadership
Yeah.
and complete ineffectiveness of the Pakistani political establishment under the current something,
Yeah.
there could be a macho kind of a perspective which is normally related to the Punjabis who act first, think later.
Hmm.
That kind of a scenario could lead to unintended escalation. And the
Hmm.
unintended escalation basically would imply that in this scenario of unintended escalation, the nuke may become a factor.
Hmm.
So nukes may become a factor. And here is a very interesting facet which I want to highlight and through you to the viewers. The global reaction to the Chinese nuclear warmongering by their large number of their ministers, their ISPR, the other analysts,
Yeah.
ambassadors, etc. That Pakistan has nukes and we know they are not meant for toys; they are there for use, etc. You correlate this to when Putin just simply said that I have tactical nuclear weapons available and I under certain circumstances I will deal with it, and the whole world went ballistic.
Erupted. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And here we have seen no single comment from anybody in the global system. There is no minister, senior member of any of the major powers has reacted to that issue and said, "Stop it! Pakistan should stop warmongering, stop nuclear mongering, stop nuclear posturing, not nuclear brinkmanship." But this is not happening. So this is what the issue is. So we are now entering into a dangerous territory, and this is my problem is that how do we handle this part going forward from here? This is going to be a tricky part. The management of the stage three of the escalation is going to be a tricky part to prevent it from further escalating, or what, like I said, unintended is escalation. From our perspective, I think from a Pakistani perspective, that the clever by two and a half that they will believe this is an intended escalation to scare India away. But again, the point I want to highlight to my Pakistani friends or whoever on their behalf is listening is India takes cognizance of these issues. India is prepared to deal with it. India does not want to brandish nuclear weapons. India will not go down that road anyway. But India's position on employment of nuclear weapons against India and our reaction thereof is very clear. I don't want to go on and enunciate to score a brownie point on the nuclear perception.
Is this management of this entire thing, keeping it within certain boundaries, is this the onus on us? Entirely on us?
No, the onus is not on us. It's a multidimensional onus. But the problem with us is that we are a democratic, politically driven notion where our political establishment is a rational actor.
Yeah.
Now, you as a rational actor are wanting to ensure that the whole issue does not escalate into a scenario which can become an unmanageable escalation and will lead to consequences which we might just like to avoid. So we are a
Yeah.
rational actor. But unfortunately, like I highlighted, we are dealing with irrational actors. The irrationality is coming in from, you can take the statement, just compile the statement being made by the Pakistani political leadership, from the prime minister down to the defense minister to the foreign minister, the way they go on the television, the way they talk about these things, and when they're cornered, they steadily go to the nukes, etc. So they are not talking a rational and an irrational actor matrix is emerging. Now, in this matrix of rationalism versus irrationalism, somebody has to take a step. Okay, so somebody has to take a step. I am not saying India should become macho. I personally believe that in this we must impress upon international players of consequence and who have influence on this irrational actor to please lay off. Stop this nonsense of unnecessary tit for tat escalation, which will get you nowhere. You have seen the asymmetry in power, you've seen the asymmetry in capacities, you've seen an asymmetry in capability. There is more to come. We have not even opened our shop. We are only selling what was already on the outside the shop. So there's plenty more inside the shop. We are an integrated capability we have. And I can assure you, I've been on a particular course. We're looking at the future wars, and what I can say with great degree of confidence is that my armed forces, my country's capacities and capabilities are far much superior, far too integrated, and we have the ability, capacity, and capability of responding in any kind that we feel like. But again, as a responsible stakeholder, as a politically responsible stakeholder, we do not want to go down that route. So the choice is with irrational Pakistani leadership. And here I will much rather appeal to the Pakistani political leadership not to allow the situation to escalate in the manner that they are allowing.
You keep using the word irrational. The point is, the Pakistani military is sitting on a gravy train, and any move towards a nuclear kind of scenario puts at risk that entire gravy train. Would they ever do that? I mean, it's a lot of posturing. And this point you mentioned about the international major players not reacting in the same manner to the Pakistani threat as to the Russian threat. I mean, the Russian threat was made by no less than Putin. Here, these are a bunch of politicians who, I mean, are cartoons, really.
See, the bottom line basically is this, that they are the political leaders of Pakistan. And the irrationality, why do I call them irrational? They are going along with the intransient demands of the military leadership, instead of controlling them and showing some kind of a gap. As after all, the National Command Authority of Pakistan, the chairman is the Prime Minister of Pakistan. Employment Committee chairman is Pakistani Prime Minister. But the fact of the matter is that he doesn't call the shots. So what we are trying to suggest is that in this mismanagement of the crisis inside the state of Pakistan, who is also facing another two-tier terror situation. Balochistan is right now burning, and
Yeah.
we are also seeing how the divisions are fighting the TTPs in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. The 11 division, some elements have been particularly left behind to deal with that kind of a situation. There is a huge amount of pressure on this leadership. So there is a theory in internationalism, anger venting, and through anger venting, you desecuritize your risk by passing on to somebody else. So
Yeah.
they are thinking that if they continue to push the India agenda, the internal risks will pass away, and the nation will galvanize together to deal with the India situation. But what I am seeing is, and what are the reports which I am getting, and what I'm trying to, uh, the the scenario which I'm seeing from within the Pakistan is the people of Pakistan, the ordinary people of Pakistan who are already suffering, are saying enough is enough. Don't be foolish. You'll get nothing with this fracas with India, or this trying to score some brownie point for no rhyme or reason. De-escalate and stop this whole nonsense of terror, and look back to the country and take it back towards the economic growth path, which were green shoots were emerging. 2.2% GDP growth rate. That's a green shoot for Pakistan. The people need food. People need bread. People need to live their lives. So that's the point I'm trying to make. So that's why my appeal is to the political establishment of Pakistan: show courage and stop this
Do you
mindless
think do you
escalation.
think General Munir has got what he wanted, and in that sense, he could back off, say, in the next couple of days, maybe early by next week?
I think my personal view is, having dealt with these gentlemen for the last couple of years, is that they would be doing the bean counting.
Okay. Hmm.
They would be doing the bean counting. They will be looking at what are the gains, what are the losses, etc., etc., etc. But within that problem, I have another problem, and my that problem is the Punjabi mindset here.
Hmm.
And the Punjabi mindset is bullheaded at times.
Yeah.
Not all the time.
So,
I'm also Punjabi, so I can tell you this can be bullheaded at times. So
hmm.
because that bullheadedness, they an obvious solution that is facing them of de-escalation at this particular point in time, uh,
Hmm.
they will not adopt that, but try and escalate and think that it's like getting into a dark tunnel. You say I'll find a way out on my as I go along, but then you go keep getting caught. You get into the blackness and then you lose your
So
direction.
this next phase of escalation, that will be nuclear or something else?
No. It's not going to be nuclear. Third phase, I told you, is going to be still conventional.
Yeah.
But after the third phase, and if the scenario by and large remains the same, where relative losses are mounting, they have the impression people are getting is that the India is getting top on top of them. That then as a default position, to in order to deal with the situation, they might bring in the nukes, and that's my worry. So that's why I use the word unintended escalation. The unintended part is they are not keen to escalate, but having painting themselves in the corner, they might escalate, and that's why I'm saying we have to look for an off ramp. And
Hmm.
unfortunately, uh, off ramp basically when a contractor cannot execute his project, so you have to give him a way out
Yeah.
to cut his losses. So off ramp is we have to give a way out to them to cut their losses.
Haven't we given them enough space to walk out of this now? We've
Yeah,
kept
but
saying we're not interested in
okay. Here
escalation.
again, see again. Here a issue again comes about is this, is that we are a bigger player, major power. War doesn't suit us beyond a particular point. We can
Yeah.
fight it. We are going to fight it for national prestige. We can go all the way down. But the question at the end of the day is, why should we allow a particularly you know imbalanced, sorry for my word, military leader who believes in a particular ethos uh, of of Hindu Muslim being different, blah blah blah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a different ideology, be allowed to spoil the whole issue. Create a scenario of us getting involved in it and disrupting our economic growth, etc., etc. So I see. We took 4.5 years of negotiations with the Chinese to resolve the issue. At the end of the day, we stood firm. We resolved the issue. It's not that we are a lesser player or a more player. No, we are a balanced nation who understands the difference between what is right and what is unacceptable. What was the situation on the line of actual control was unacceptable. We set it right. So I'm trying to say again is we understand that what is happening around is not right. We have to set it right. I'm not saying is giving some kind of an off ramp to Pakistanis, not directly through other means or conveying it. Does that work? And we have a particular precedence of 2021
Yeah.
ceasefire. We managed that 2021 ceasefire through some kind of a diplomatic engagement at the appropriate levels. Maybe
Yeah.
we should start looking at that.
I mean, it won't end terrorism from that side. Couple of years down the line, again, it'll be back to the same old game.
Uh, I knew this question would come, so let me answer that question. The relativity of power that we are exhibiting right now is clear to anybody who sees it. There's a huge asymmetry in our favor. If we get 6 to 7 years of relative peace, let's put it at 20, 30, 32, 33, we would have further consolidated our both economic and military power
Yeah.
and national power. So that it will become that much different from even if they were to get a 1 to 2% growth rate, which is unlikely after this skirmish,
Yeah.
they are going to go back into regression, economic regression. So if they are back into economic regression, the logic is very simple for us is this, that we will have created that asymmetry that we have, and should push come to shove, we go back down the same road that we have. We are repeatedly showing the light to the Pakistani. They don't want to see it. Then again we'll have to do the same thing, but at costs that are manageable to us. And what we are doing right now are manageable costs, and we should not allow these costs to become escalatory for us.
So, last question: have we delivered enough punishment for the Pakistani military to understand that, you know,
My view, they have suffered enough. They know that they have suffered more than their military suffering. They have also realized the compatibility, or the uh, asymmetry of power. Sorry, asymmetry of power between them and us, and they realize that. I think that realization is good enough. Uh, if you feel more punishment is required, we have the third rung of escalation coming tonight. We can exercise that, and then we can see where we go from. But my point at issue is that there must be a plan in our mind. There must be a thinking in our mind. Not that my leaders do not have it. I'm sure they think about these things. I'm just giving you my impression with
yeah.
my years of engagement with these gentlemen and my understanding of escalation management and strategic challenges. My view is that you must have a potential solution in your mind when you escalate. You must understand where are you escalating to, and at what stage you want to call it quits, or what stage that you believe that I should not go beyond that particular stage. From our perspective, we can continue with the Pakistan. We can continue with fourth rank, fifth rank, even if I told you nuclear weapons do not bother us. We are credible, we're capable, and we can handle them.
But DG ISPR did say they don't want escalation. Is that a silver lining?
Yeah, it's a silver lining, but I won't buy it straight away, because they send a lot of signals. There are confused signals, and there's a huge amount of disinformation campaign going on right now. So I think some wise people in Delhi would have to sit down and go through
Figure
these
it out.
statements and then make a judgmental call. Uh, there is pressure from my perspective. There is a huge amount of pressure being put on Pakistan to call it off. Enough is enough. That's my
Okay.
particular view. It is, and I believe that it they could heed it sooner than later, and that's what I'm trying to convey.
Well, hopefully that will turn out the way you have mentioned it. Let's wait next couple of days. And we leave it there, Brigadier Sehgal. Thanks very much for that perspective and looking
Thank
forward
you.
to more such conversations going forward.
Thank you, Sriya. It was always a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
That's
you.
all we have for you on this broadcast. Do follow our YouTube channel and subscribe to it. Hit that icon. And thank you very much. Good day.